welcome to Grace and Lottie's. In part one of our Hexagon Swirl, we worked on getting all of this hexagon pattern laid out, and that took quite some time. And so now we're gonna start doing the detail work on all of these hexagons. Now you could make a cool design with that, just using the hexagons there. They kind of look like rosettes to me. So that is something you could think about with this, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the full swirl pattern in on these. So I'm taking my oval tool here and using the 5/16 spot, lining it up using the guides on the tool. Now you could do these freehand, it's just that with so many of these I wanted to keep them fairly uniform, so this kept them the same size so that I'm not feeling like I'm getting shaky or getting off, especially if you have to take a break and come back to it, because sometimes if I take a break from something it's hard to come back and stay the same size or in the same orientation. This kept me on track, and this is what tools are for. So I'm gonna let you see this first one slow, and then we'll fast track through the rest because there are a lot to do, and it is very repetitive going through because it's just like the other one. We keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. Edges are all done, so the next step I had was figuring out what I was going to use to fill. Now you could just do this with one large circle in the middle. I chose to do this doing a bunch of smaller circles, again using a small pigment pen here. I like my 1 or even my 0.5 on these just because, well actually it's 0.1 or 0.05 on these, just because in these small circles even the line takes up some of it. So what I did was I picked a larger size here, and I did 16, you see me counting them, and I didn't worry about having them all being the same in each one of these. I kind of spaced them all around. Then I skipped a size and went down to a smaller one, did the same number, and then I went down to a teeny tiny one and just filled in the whole area. Now this took forever. Pebbling, this, which is what this is called, takes a long time. It creates a really, really neat effect, but do not think this is going to be a quick process. It is not. So I get all of the circles put in, then I'm going to fill in all of the black areas. Now, I did not worry too much about going over black lines that I had, especially in the middle with some of the circles, because I was going to go back in with these and I'm going to hit them with my white gel pen to kind of act like white out to erase them. Typically when I create a piece like this, I don't plan on putting color on this one directly. Now if I had, I would have done the line work differently in the middle. Instead, what I like to do is I like to create the black and white, scan it, and have that black and white to be able to use in multitudes of different ways. Like I like to be able to put that on to watercolor paper or onto my Bristol or onto regular drawing paper, just so that I can pick what media I want to use, and I may visit it a couple of different times in a couple of different ways. So know that you don't have to make this first one perfect if you don't want to. You could have it to where you're going to go back and clean it up, and I do go back and clean up on this one. I did quite a bit of cleanup, several hours worth, getting it to where I was happy with it because I was planning on using it so many times. So you're going to see me putting in all of these circles and then going in and filling in the black. So I'll have it sped up quite a bit, and then I will meet you back here in a moment. Whether to include the part of me cleaning up with my gel pen, and I decided to leave it in here. So here is proof that I did go back and spend time cleaning up all of the little extra lines. I'm not a very clean artist when I'm working, and so there were little bits and smudges that I had to go back and clean up as well. So here is proof that I did it, and in the next shot I'm going to show you guys the finished piece. Finished. This one took so long, and I know I have made a really short video in comparison about this, mainly because it was so much repetition. There weren't a whole lot of techniques that needed to be covered on how to, just a lot of steps to do. So I chopped them down, made it short, trying to make these a little bit shorter so you can get the how to and then go do it yourself rather than trying to do it at the same time, because those videos tend to get really, really long and it's hard to watch the whole thing. So I hope you've enjoyed this format. I'm gonna have this picture posted over on my blog. You can look down below in the description, and there will be a link to it so that you can download it if you want to use this as a coloring sheet, as well as you can just follow the blog if you want, just for knowing what's going on right now. As well as you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Grayson Lottes. I post a lot there about what's going on, some of my ideas, some other stuff in the art world that I find interesting. So you can keep up with some things there, as well as the Facebook group. They've got some things going on as well. I think that just about covers it. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, as well as to hit the bell icon that's down there so that you can get notifications about when new videos come out. And please do that for any channel that you want to stay in the know about what's going on there. Just because of the way YouTube's changed some things, that's the best way to stay on top of what's going on. I hope that you are creating every day, and remember that art happens in everyday life. Make sure you're watching for it.